Hey outlaw, how rugged is the country you're hiking? They say. Well, people, it's pretty rugged. These are some rugged ass mountains. Beautiful. Let's get up them. There's a good stump that a bear's torn apart. Good morning, everybody. It's about 6 a.m. and we're back in God's country. Back in God's country. There's a nice mushroom. I don't know what kind that is. I don't know what kind that is because I don't eat them. But I'm sure somebody watching this knows what kind of mushroom that is. So I might do things a wee bit different today for everybody. This is pretty steep country in here too, as I'm sure you can tell. I might change things up just a little bit, and I've got a whole shitload now, probably another 10 emails that people are sending through to me, on top of the probably dozen or so I had before. So I've gone through a few of them, and I gotta do right by you guys, and get these read. Look at this game trail. So I think what we may do is find a spot here and try to get at least one or maybe two of these emails read out to you before I get too far into my hike, just for those of you that don't like to look at this beautiful scenery. This is how you get in shape fast. Is hiking shit like this. I don't know if you can tell how steep it is, but believe you me when I tell you, it's steep. Another cooler day. Got a raven following me. Another somewhat cooler day. It's nice. It's probably like 10 degrees, 11 degrees, which is kind of cool for this time of year. You can sure tell that fall is coming. You know, every day it gets lighter, a little bit later out. Like this morning, it never got daylight till 5:45, 20 to 6 probably 20 to 6, I guess. And like when I woke up, I get up pretty early, but I can see, obviously it's dark when I get up, and then I see the daylight coming. Wow, this is rugged in here. as I say, you really never know what you're gonna see in here. There's elk in here, there's bear, there's deer, cougar. You never know what else. Anyhow, I just wanted to clarify something in case anybody else was feeling the same way that this gentleman was feeling about one of my last videos. And I said to everybody how excited I was for hunting season to be coming. And you know that I was like a kid at Christmas time when it comes to hunting, and I am. But somebody commented and said, "You're excited to go out and kill things. Pretty sad. That's pathetic," or something. And I just wanted to clarify. It's not. You know, if you're not a hunter, there's so much more to hunting. There's so much more to hunting than killing something. The killing on my part is taken very seriously, and it takes a millisecond to pull that trigger. Okay, but what I'm excited for is to be out in this, be out in Mother Nature. And I'm not going to lie, because I just won't lie to anybody. Yes, I'm excited to harvest an animal because that feeds my family. And, if I get a moose or a caribou or a sheep, that's meat in my freezer. That's like people that don't hunt. That's like you going to the grocery store. And I choose to harvest my own animals and feed myself that way. No steroids, no chemicals, nothing to do with man. These animals are out in the wild. They're as healthy. They're the healthiest meat you can eat. Moose meat is, if I believe it actually is the top or red meat on the planet, health-wise. It has just the right amount of fat content, which is very little, but it is the healthiest red meat out there. Very, very good for you. So, no, I'm not a killmonger that just likes to go out and shoot shit and kill things. No, I feed my family. With what I harvest. So that's that. God damn. So this email came in from a female search and rescue helicopter pilot. Cool. That's friggin' cool. And you know what I always say too, anytime I get emails or have comments or whatever, like from veterans, military or police officers or firefighters, and even search and rescue, I thank them for their service, especially military, but anybody that puts their life on the line to protect others, in my eyes, is a hero. As I said, my dad was a police officer for like 36 years or 37 years or 8 years or something. He was a police officer, and he went to work every day and put his life on the line to protect others. And people like this, and police officers, military, search and rescue, they're doing the same thing. So this lady has asked me not to use her name because of her employment position, but she'll know who she is, and thank you for your service. Thank you for protecting those people out there that are like me, out enjoying the wilderness and the woods and whatnot. So thank you for your service, my dear. Okay, I'm going to read this. I have no idea how long this one is, but hello, Darren. I was directed to your channel by a comment that Steve Isdall made as I follow his channel, How to Hunt. I am now very glad that I found you. I love your content, your hikes, the scenery you share. It's all breathtaking. I've had only one experience with these beings, but that's enough for me. please don't share my name, as I'm part of a search and rescue organization that would not take kindly to me sharing this information. No problem. The sighting took place in 2008, and all I can say is that it was in the mountains of north central USA. I'm a helicopter pilot, and we were on a training exercise to locate a lost hiker. We always fly with two pilots on the aircraft. One is at the controls and the other one acts as co-pilot and spotter. My partner at the time was a man I worked with for several years and still keep in touch with to this day. We were flying a grid pattern in the mountains looking for a lost hiker mock-up placed by our team leader. We had people on the ground as well as us in the air. As we came over the top of a ridge into a small valley bottom, my co-pilot said, "What the hell is that running up the creek bed?" I slowed our ascent down and turned slightly in the direction of the small creek. And that's when my partner said, "What in God's name is that?" He pointed to the being, but I had already seen it moving up the steep creek bed towards the top of the mountain. This thing was very big, much larger than a man, dark brown and black, and was running at a tremendous rate of speed. I knew immediately this was not a human and not a bear. I had never been into the topic of Bigfoot, although I had heard stories over the years. It just wasn't something that was on my radar. Our helicopters are equipped with infrared thermal imaging cameras, and my co-pilot tried to get the camera on this thing. But due to the timber, terrain, and speed at which it was moving, we only caught a brief glimpse of it through the camera. This thing, in brackets, I honestly don't know what to call them, made it to the timber at the top of the trough, and we never saw it again. We did look around briefly, but our flight director team leader told us to continue to the east and stay on mission. The training mission was ended before we located the lost hiker, and we were ordered back to base. When we landed, techs and mechanics were waiting, and the minute we exited the aircraft, they were into the computer system. They often do this to download flight data and recordings. After every training exercise and flight, we have a team debriefing. But the first debriefing my co-pilot and I had was just the two of us and our flight director leader. I feel that due to the fact that I'm a female, the majority of the conversation was directed at me. Eye contact was almost solely with me. We were told that the footage was retrieved from our flight, and what we saw in the creek bed was a large bear, and it was simply leaning up against a tree on the creek bank before being alarmed by the helicopter and running away. We were told that it appeared to be bipedal due to the steepness of the terrain, but it was just a bear. The last thing that was said to us is, in quotations, "Are we all clear on what was seen?" ? I knew then and there that we had seen something that was not to be discussed openly again. After our team debriefing, my partner and I met up and discussed what had transpired. He looked me right in the eyes and said, "If it was a bear, it was a bear," in quotation marks. And then he winked to me and said, in quotation, "I love my job and would never jeopardize that, would you?" ? End of quotation. I know what we saw that day, and I also knew that we would be in big trouble if we spoke of it again. I never said a word to anyone about this until a few years later when I told my now husband about it. He said he's not surprised in the least. He's an avid outdoorsman, loves to hunt, fish, and we both love to hike the beautiful mountains, just as you do. He said he's personally never seen one of these beings, but has heard stories and has always believed in them. My old partner and I have only spoke of that day a couple of times, and each time we discussed it, it always got a wink at the end. I know for a fact that these beings walk our forests, and after seeing what this thing did in steep, rugged terrain going uphill faster than any human ever could, there's no wonder they are very rarely ever seen. In one of your videos, you said that you think they allow themselves to be seen, and I have to agree with you. I think that maybe we surprised this one, and that's why it took off running away so fast. But it knew where to go to get out of sight as soon as possible. I've seen many beautiful sights and many beautiful animals flying over the remote mountains, but that day changed my life forever. As your friend Steve says, welcome to the Club of No Return. No kidding. Keep up the great work sharing your fabulous footage with us all. It's truly stunning, and please keep sharing. We all deserve to know the truth. Sincerely, I'll leave it blank. Yeah, that's pretty incredible. Again, it's just another sighting. It's just another sighting, but it's more than that. My mind's playing tricks on me. I know it's just another sighting, but it's more than that. It's the things that are involved in the sighting, right? Like, I've heard Steve mention a few times about these beings being on rivers and creeks and whatnot, and that they're maybe more vulnerable, or their senses aren't as good, or whatever it is. And this one, as she says, was going up a creek, or on a creek when they came over the ridge. So there's that whole creek thing again. That I know that does happen, because what happens when you get on a creek, when you're hiking a creek or a river, there's a natural breeze, and it's generally going downstream for the most part. Generally, it's going downstream, and so it scent is carried away very quickly. And probably the most important thing, which is why I don't tend to, when I'm hunting, I don't tend to really walk creeks. I'll walk a creek, but I'll be up in the timber above the creek, because you can't hear. Your sense of hearing is diminished greatly because the creeks, rivers are so loud and whatnot. So, maybe this thing was in the creek or walking the creek or whatever it was doing, getting a drink, who knows. And, the helicopter comes up over I don't know how high this ridge was, but the helicopter comes up over this ridge, and there, if you're in a creek, a helicopter is quiet when it's, when you got a mountain separating you. I've had that happen as well. I've had conservation officers, game wardens, I've been in a draw or whatever, and last second you hear them, and boom, there's the helicopter comes over the mountain or the ridge or whatever. They're somewhat different than an airplane. So anyways, it's all the little events, and then when they break over the ridge, this thing takes off running. So obviously they spooked it. And it took off, right? And it, there's sounds to me like there was timber there. Yeah, and it worked its way up and it through the timber and into the thicker timber. So it's all those little pieces of the puzzle to me that just shows their abilities. If you live out in this shit your entire life, nobody knows it better than you do, and you know where to run. It's just like a deer or an elk or whatever, a bear, a wild animal, right? If a wild animal is being feels threatened, they know where to run. You don't know as a person, but a wild animal does. And if you're hunting and you get on an animal and it catches wind of you or hears you or sees you, it's gone, and it knows the routes to take to get the hell out of there. So pretty wild. Thank you very much did good not saying her name. But thank you very much for your email. Again, you guys, I am just trying to do what I said I would do. Little chipmunk over there. Little baby squirrel. Cool. I'm just doing what I said I would do. And I promised that I would share, if people emailed me in, that I would share them with everybody. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So I'm still going out and doing my hikes and showing you those. But I have an obligation now, because when I say I'm going to do something, I do it. So, but anyways, I will get more red. Good thing to do when I go for a hike. Gives me time to have a quick little break and have a hornbeam bar, get some energy. This is freaking wild area in here. Anyways, I'm going to pack up, get the hell out of here. And now the email's over. People that think this is horrible scenery can leave. And people that like watching some forest scenery and some whatnot, maybe we'll see an animal, who knows. Might throw a little bit more footage on this later, but I'm going to get back to hiking, because if I sit here any longer, the bugs are going to eat me alive. Okay, I am out of here. I'm out of here. You guys be safe. I hope you all have a good day, and I hope you're physically able to get out and do something that you absolutely love to do. And if you're not, you come right here. If this is what you love to do and you physically can't do it right now, you're always welcome by my side. So, okay, I'm out of here, folks. Be safe. Later. Holy cow. I thought I was in shape. I thought I was getting in shape. I guess I am, but I ain't there yet. Holy shit, look at the size of that tree. Wow. That's a big old tree. So you can see I'm almost pretty much at the top here. Top of the mountain. I've probably gained 1,500 feet of elevation. A little bit further to go, not much. Let's get up there. There's a tree broken off. A lot of these are probably just from the wind. Oh, man. You know, it's been a lot of years. It's been a lot of years since I hurt my knees. Like, I don't know, 36 or 37 years ago. That's a long time, but they still hurt. Last push to the top, or do I maybe side hill it? I could side hill, kind of go through here and right off to the top there, maybe. I swore I just heard something. You know what? I always preach to people on my videos to go with your gut. When your gut that tells you something doesn't feel right or whatever, to not do it. And I don't know why. I have no idea why, but right now my gut is screaming to me to not go to the top. And I don't know why, but I for one, folks, listen to my gut. I listen to my gut. I got a bit of a weird feeling in here. And I don't know why. I've never been here before. Not on this mountain. I've been on this mountain range. I've been on this mountain range maybe a few miles. East of here. I've done a bit of hiking, but I've never been this far. I don't know, and I don't know why, but my gut's saying don't go any further. I don't know. What do you think? Does it look like a spooky area? And I wouldn't necessarily say it's like I'm spooked out. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm spooked out, but I'm listening to my gut. My gut is saying, Darren, don't go up there. So guess what? I'm not going up there. I'm going to work down. I'm going to work down a little bit. Maybe follow there's a little draw down below me. I'll maybe follow that draw for a bit, pop over the next ridge. There's a nice river. I'll maybe head that way. I listen to my gut all the time. And I don't give a shit if you think that's crazy or whatever. I can tell you for a fact that listening to my gut has saved my life many times. I know that. It saved my life with grizzly bears, with a pack of wolves, with weather. So it's called intuition, right? All right. I hate going down. Going down is hard on the body. Going down is hard on the knees, right? So anyways, let's get out of here and head for the creek.